Have you ever been jolted awake in the middle of the night by a sharp, twisting pain in your calf that feels like it's tearing your muscle apart? That searing cramp that seems to come out of nowhere, gripping your leg with such intensity that all you can do is clutch it and wait in agony. If you're over 60, there's a good chance you've experienced this kind of leg cramp, maybe more often than you'd like to admit. And if it hasn't happened to you yet, it's something you'll want to prevent. Because these cramps don't just cause discomfort, they can seriously interfere with your sleep, mobility, and overall quality of life. But here's the good news. Many leg cramps are avoidable. And believe it or not, one of the most powerful ways to prevent them starts right in your kitchen. That's right. What you eat every day could be the key to keeping those awful cramps at bay, and even reversing the trend if you're already suffering. In today's video, we're going to talk about the 3 best foods that help prevent leg cramps in older adults. Foods that are easy to find, simple to prepare, and most importantly, packed with the nutrients your aging body needs to stay strong, pain-free, and balanced. These aren't expensive superfoods you have to hunt down in specialty stores. They're common, real foods that fight inflammation, support healthy nerves and muscles, and replenish the key minerals that your body tends to lose as you age. We're also going to talk about why these foods are so powerful, what science says about them, how to easily add them into your daily meals without completely changing your lifestyle. By the end of this video, you'll not only know what to eat, but why it works, and how to start feeling the difference, possibly in just a few days. So get comfortable, take a deep breath, and let's walk through this together. You deserve to move without pain. You deserve a restful night's sleep. And it might start with something as simple as what's on your plate. So, let's begin with a quick truth that most people overlook. As we get older, our bodies become more vulnerable to imbalances, especially in minerals like magnesium, potassium, and calcium. These are not just bonus nutrients. They are essential for muscle function, nerve communication, and blood circulation. And when even one of them is low, your muscles can misfire, tightening and cramping painfully at the worst possible times. But here's the twist. Even if you're eating well, certain age-related changes can interfere with how your body absorbs and uses these minerals. Reduced stomach acid, medications like diuretics or statins, and chronic low-level inflammation can all create a silent mineral deficiency, leading to leg cramps, muscle weakness, or tingling in your limbs. That's why simply eating a balanced diet isn't always enough. You need specific, targeted foods that are naturally rich in these muscle-calming minerals, and that help reduce the inflammation that blocks their absorption. And that brings us to the first food, or better said, the first group of foods that acts as a true natural remedy for leg cramps in seniors. I'm talking about dark leafy greens. Spinach, Swiss chard, kale, collards. These vibrant vegetables are absolute powerhouses of magnesium and potassium. Just 1 cup of cooked spinach contains almost 40% of your daily magnesium needs and potassium. Swiss chard has nearly as much potassium per cup as a banana, without the sugar spike. But it's not just the minerals themselves that make these greens so effective. They also contain compounds that reduce oxidative stress and systemic inflammation, 2 of the root causes of age-related cramping. In fact, studies have shown that older adults who consume more leafy greens have better muscle tone, less nerve pain, and fewer nighttime cramps. The antioxidants in greens, especially lutein and beta-carotene, help protect the walls of your blood vessels, which means better circulation and oxygen delivery to your muscles. You might be wondering, but I don't really like spinach, or kale is too tough. That's totally fair. The good news is that you don't have to eat them raw in a salad to get the benefits. Lightly steaming spinach or sautéing Swiss chard with a bit of olive oil and garlic makes it not only palatable but delicious. Add them 2 scrambled eggs, stir them into soups, or blend a handful into a smoothie with some frozen berries and almond milk, and you won't even taste it. Here's something most people don't know. Cooking greens actually makes their minerals more available. So don't feel guilty about not eating them raw. In fact, for aging digestive systems, cooked greens are often easier to absorb and gentler on the gut. It's a small shift with a big payoff, especially if you've been dealing with muscle tightness, restlessness, or cramps after walking or while lying in bed. Now, let's take a step back and talk about why leg cramps happen in the first place, because once you understand the mechanism, it becomes a lot easier to know how to fight them. When your muscles contract, they need a precise balance of electrical signals, which rely on minerals like potassium and magnesium to flow smoothly across your cells. If those minerals are missing or out of balance, your nerves can send the wrong message or keep firing after the message should have stopped. That's when a muscle locks up and won't relax. This process is made worse by dehydration, poor blood flow, and surprisingly, chronic inflammation. Inflammation might not be something you associate with leg cramps, but in many cases, it's the hidden culprit. When your muscles and nerves are inflamed, they become hypersensitive and more likely to spasm. That's why eating anti-inflammatory foods like leafy greens is so powerful. They're not just filling a nutrient gap, they're calming the system that controls your muscles in the first place. So that's one major food group down, greens. What's the second? You might be surprised, but it's something most of us enjoy already. And it's especially comforting during colder Canadian months. Sweet potatoes. Yes. Sweet potatoes. Not just tasty, but incredibly rich in two of the most important leg cramp fighting minerals, potassium and magnesium. In fact, one medium-sized sweet potato contains more potassium than a banana. And it's also a great source of vitamin C and beta-carotene, both of which are natural anti-inflammatories. What makes sweet potatoes so ideal for older adults is that they have a naturally low glycemic index, meaning they won't spike your blood sugar the way some other carbs can. That's important because blood sugar spikes and crashes can contribute to inflammation and mineral loss. In fact, people with prediabetes or diabetes, which includes a large number of people over 60, are more prone to leg cramps, precisely because of these sugar imbalances. Sweet potatoes give you the warmth, comfort, and satisfaction of a starchy food without the hidden downside. Now here's where it gets even better. Sweet potatoes are incredibly versatile. You can roast them with a bit of cinnamon and olive oil. You can mash them with a dash of sea salt and a little coconut oil. Or you can slice them thin and bake your own healthy chips. However you like them, they'll be doing double duty, satisfying your appetite and fighting the cramps that keep you up at night. There's also a hidden benefit to sweet potatoes that many people don't talk about. They're rich in fiber. And fiber is crucial for digestive health, which in turn affects how well you absorb minerals. A healthy gut is like a good sponge. It soaks up the nutrients your body needs to keep muscles, bones, and nerves functioning properly. That's why a food that's both high in minerals and high in fiber, like sweet potatoes, is a win-win. Now before we move to the third food, let's pause here and reflect. You might be asking yourself, but I'm already taking a magnesium supplement? Isn't that enough? It's a great question. And the answer is, not always. Supplements can help, but they don't work in isolation. Your body needs the right environment to absorb and use those nutrients, and that environment comes from whole foods. Foods have cofactors, enzymes, vitamins, and phytonutrients that act like keys to unlock mineral absorption. Why people who eat magnesium-rich foods often feel better than those just relying on pills. And now we arrive at the third incredible food that helps prevent leg cramps. And this one might surprise you. It's not green. It's not orange. In fact, it's small, slightly oily, and often overlooked. I'm talking about wild-caught salmon. Salmon is one of nature's most complete sources of muscle-protecting nutrition. It's rich in magnesium, potassium, and calcium, the three minerals most commonly linked to muscle cramping. But what makes salmon stand out is its high content of omega-3 fatty acids. These healthy fats are profoundly anti-inflammatory and have been shown in multiple studies to reduce muscle soreness, improve circulation, and enhance nerve function. Why does this matter for leg cramps? It's because when your blood vessels are inflamed or constricted, less oxygen and fewer nutrients reach your muscles, especially at night. When circulation naturally slows down, poor circulation is one of the silent triggers for nighttime cramping. But omega-3 South help open up those vessels, reduce inflammation in the vascular walls, and support healthy blood flow to your extremities. including your legs and feet. If you've ever had that dead leg sensation or pins and needles in your calves, or if your feet feel cold even when the room is warm, these are signs that your circulation may be slowing down. Salmon doesn't just provide the minerals that stop cramps. It helps ensure those minerals actually get to the muscles where they're needed. Let's also talk about vitamin D as we age. Many people develop a deficiency in vitamin D without even realizing it. This vitamin plays a crucial role in muscle strength and nerve signaling, yet very few foods naturally contain it. Salmon is one of the rare exceptions. A single serving can provide more than half your daily recommended intake, especially when it's wild-caught rather than farmed. And there's another reason salmon is a smart choice for older adults. It's high in high-quality protein. Muscles don't just need minerals, they need the building blocks of tissue repair, especially after exercise or physical activity. Weak or atrophied, muscles are more prone to spasms. That's why maintaining your muscle mass as you age is one of the best things you can do to prevent cramps and maintain mobility. Salmon offers a clean, digestible source of protein that doesn't burden the kidneys or spike inflammation like some red meats can now. You might be thinking, but salmon is expensive. That's a valid concern, especially if you're shopping on a fixed budget, but there are a few things to keep in mind. First, you don't need to eat salmon every day to get the benefits. Just 2 servings per week can have a noticeable impact. Second, canned wild salmon is a fantastic, affordable alternative. It's just as nutrient-rich, easier to store, and surprisingly versatile. You can make salmon patties, mix it with mashed avocado for a healthy spread, or add it to salads or scrambled eggs. If salmon really isn't your thing, you can still get many of the same benefits from other oily fish, like sardines, mackerel, or trout, all of which are typically easier on the wallet. Sardines, in particular, are an underrated superfood. They're loaded with calcium, magnesium, and omega-3 south. And since you eat them with the bones, you're getting a natural boost to your bone strength as well. With these 3 foods, leafy greens, sweet potatoes, and salmon, you're giving your body a trio of nutrients that support nerve function, improve circulation, and reduce inflammation. And most importantly, you're doing it in a way that's sustainable, natural, and deeply nourishing. You're not just addressing the symptom of cramps. You're treating the underlying causes that make them worse with age. Now let's address something that often confuses people. What if you're eating all the right things but still getting cramps? The truth is, food is only one piece of the puzzle. Your lifestyle, hydration, activity level, and even your medications can all influence how prone you are to leg cramps. For example, diuretics commonly prescribed for high blood pressure can flush out potassium and magnesium, leaving your muscles vulnerable. Likewise, statins used to manage cholesterol are known to cause muscle aches and cramps in some individuals. If you're on either of these medications and struggling with nighttime spasms, it's worth having a conversation with your doctor. Sometimes adjusting the dosage or switching to a different medication can make a big difference. Hydration is another major factor. Even mild dehydration can lead to cramps, especially in the legs, which are farthest from the heart and rely on good blood flow to stay limber. Older adults often have a reduced sense of thirst, which means you might not feel dehydrated, even if your body is. One of the best habits you can build is drinking small amounts of water consistently throughout the day, not just when you feel thirsty. Adding a pinch of sea salt or a splash of natural fruit juice to your water can also help replenish electrolytes. It's making it more effective at preventing cramps. And here's something most people overlook: stretching. Gentle, consistent stretching of the calves, hamstrings, and feet before bed can dramatically reduce the frequency and intensity of nighttime cramps. It doesn't have to be a full yoga session. It's just 5 to 10 minutes of slow, mindful movement can signal to your muscles that it's time to relax, not to seize up while you sleep. If you combine this habit with the right foods, you may find your cramps reduce or even disappear altogether. Let's also touch on posture. If you spend a lot of time sitting, particularly with your legs crossed or tucked under you, it can compress blood vessels and restrict circulation. This lack of blood flow builds tension in your muscles, which may only show up later when you try to lie down or move in your sleep. Paying attention to how you sit and taking breaks to stand or walk every hour or so can make a big difference in your leg health. Another common question is about bananas. People often reach for bananas when they experience cramps, thinking it's a surefire fix because of the potassium. Yes, bananas do contain potassium. They're not the most efficient source, and they don't offer the anti-inflammatory benefits that foods like greens or sweet potatoes do. If you like bananas, enjoy them. Don't rely on them alone to solve the problem. In fact, too much fruit sugar without enough fiber or fat can cause blood sugar spikes, which may contribute to inflammation, the very thing we're trying to avoid. Let's shift the focus now to another topic that tends to come up when talking about leg cramps: age. Many people assume that cramps are just a normal part of getting older. It's just part of aging, they say. But that's not entirely true. Yes, aging bodies undergo changes in muscle mass, hydration, and mineral retention. But leg cramps are not inevitable. They are common, yes, but they are also preventable in many cases. The key is to work with your body, not against it. Think of your body like a garden. As we age, the soil may become a little less fertile, the weeds a little more stubborn, and the watering schedule more important than ever. But with the right care, the right nutrients, sunlight, movement, and attention, it can still flourish. Your muscles, nerves, and circulation are no different. They respond to nourishment. They respond to consistency. And most of all, they respond to kindness. When you start feeding your body with intention, when you hydrate it, move it gently, and listen to its signals, it often gives you more back than you expect. Now imagine this. You've added a handful of greens to your morning eggs. You're roasting sweet potatoes once a week and enjoying salmon on Sunday nights. You're drinking water throughout the day and taking time to stretch your legs before bed. 3 weeks later, you notice something. You're sleeping more peacefully. You haven't had a cramp in days. You wake up feeling rested instead of tight and achy. That's not a miracle. That's biology, and it's within your control. Let's wrap up this part of the conversation here and take a short pause. In the next segment, we're going to answer some of the most frequently asked questions about leg cramps, questions we've gathered from viewers just like you. We'll talk about when to see a doctor, how to know if cramps are a sign of something more serious, and natural remedies you can use alongside your new diet. You'll walk away with a deeper understanding and even more tools to reclaim your comfort and mobility. Now that we've covered the 3 most effective foods for preventing leg cramps and explored why they work so well, let's take some time to address the kinds of questions people often have when it comes to this frustrating and sometimes scary issue. It's normal to feel confused, frustrated, or even a little helpless when your body starts acting in unfamiliar ways, especially when the pain comes suddenly in the middle of the night or when you're simply trying to enjoy a walk around. One of the most common questions that comes up is, when should you worry about leg cramps? After all, sometimes a cramp is just a cramp, a brief moment of pain that goes away. But other times, it can be a signal that something deeper is going on. Here's the honest answer. If your cramps are happening frequently, more than a few times a week, or if they're accompanied by swelling, changes in skin color, or numbness, you should definitely bring it up with your healthcare provider. These symptoms could be signs of circulation problems, nerve issues, or even something like deep vein thrombosis, which requires immediate medical attention. Cramps that only happen at night and go away quickly are often just a sign of mineral imbalance or inflammation, but it's always better to be safe than sorry. Another question that comes up a lot is whether leg cramps can be related to diabetes or prediabetes. The answer is yes, absolutely. Elevated blood sugar levels can damage nerves over time, a condition known as diabetic neuropathy. One of the early warning signs of this is cramping, tingling, or burning in the legs and feet, even if you haven't been diagnosed with diabetes. If you're over 60 and experiencing these symptoms, it's a good idea to get your blood sugar levels checked. The foods we discussed earlier, like leafy greens and sweet potatoes, are not only great for preventing cramps, they also help stabilize blood sugar, which supports overall nerve health and helps to reduce the risk of developing complications down the road. People also ask about sleep. Why do cramps always seem to hit at night when you're finally resting? The truth is that your body's position during sleep can reduce blood flow to certain parts of your legs, if your legs are bent or if your toes are pointed for long periods. This can put tension on the muscles and cause them to seize. Add in a drop in body temperature and hydration during the night, and your muscles are even more prone to cramping. This is why a gentle stretching routine before bed, combined with staying hydrated during the day, can make such a huge difference. Some people also find it helpful to sleep with a pillow under their knees to support proper alignment and reduce strain. There's another question that might be on your mind. Should I be taking supplements? Should I just go to the pharmacy and pick up some magnesium or potassium pills? This is where it gets a little more personal. Supplements can absolutely help some people, especially if your diet is limited or you're on medications that deplete certain minerals, K. But they're not magic pills, and they don't work the same way for everyone. In fact, some magnesium supplements can cause digestive upset or interact with medications. That's why it's always better to start with whole foods, which offer minerals in their most natural and absorbable form, along with other nutrients that support their absorption. If you do decide to try a supplement, it's best to consult your doctor or pharmacist first. They can help you choose the right form, for example. Magnesium citrate is more easily absorbed than magnesium oxide, but it may have a mild laxative effect. Potassium supplements should always be used under medical supervision, especially if you have kidney issues or take medications for your heart or blood pressure. Again, this isn't to scare you. It's simply about being informed and safe. Now, let's talk about something that doesn't often get mentioned in conversations about leg cramps: stress. Emotional stress and anxiety can actually contribute to physical tension in the body, especially in the legs. Think about how your body feels when you're worried, frustrated, or afraid. Your muscles tense up, your breathing becomes shallow, and your blood flow becomes more restricted. Over time, this kind of chronic tension can lead to fatigue and cramping, especially if it's layered on top of other issues like poor diet or dehydration. So while it might seem unrelated, finding ways to manage stress can actually reduce the frequency and intensity of your cramps. This could be something as simple as deep breathing before bed, listening to calming music, or spending time outside in nature. Meditation, prayer, journaling, even laughter, all of these help regulate your nervous system and bring your body into a more relaxed state where healing and recovery can take place. Another great habit to consider is gentle movement throughout the day. It doesn't have to be intense exercise. In fact, high-impact workouts can sometimes make cramps worse, especially if you're not properly warmed up or hydrated. What your muscles often need most is consistent, low-impact motion, walking, stretching, swimming, or light resistance training. These kinds of movements improve circulation, maintain muscle elasticity, and help your body use the minerals you take in more efficiently. Even something as simple as standing up every hour to roll your ankles and stretch your calves can be surprisingly effective. Let's also talk about shoes. This might sound like a small thing, but the kind of footwear you use every day plays a major role in leg health. Poorly fitting shoes, or shoes that don't provide proper support, can throw off your posture and put unnecessary strain on your leg muscles. This is especially true if you spend a lot of time on your feet. Look for shoes that offer arch support, cushioning, and a proper fit. If your balance has become an issue, shoes with non-slip soles can help reduce your risk of falling, while also protecting your joints. As you can see, everything in your body is connected. The foods you eat, how you move, how you sleep, how you handle stress, even what you wear, they all contribute to whether or not you wake up feeling refreshed or in pain. Leg cramps are not just an isolated issue. They are a signal, a message from your body asking for support, nourishment, and care. And the beautiful thing is, you can respond to that message starting today. Let me tell you a short story. A woman named Margaret, 72 years old, retired school teacher, used to get cramps in her legs almost every night. She tried everything, from massages to heat pads, even sleeping in compression socks. Nothing seemed to work for long. Then she started making small changes. She added spinach and kale to her soups. She swapped regular potatoes for sweet potatoes. Twice a week, she baked a piece of salmon for dinner. She also started doing a 5-minute stretch routine before bed and made sure to drink a glass of water with a pinch of sea salt in the afternoon. Within 2 weeks, her cramps were gone. Now she sleeps through the night and wakes up ready to go on her morning walk. These weren't drastic changes. They were consistent. And they made all the difference. You can do the same. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to accept pain as a part of growing older. Your body is wise, and it's always trying to heal. It just needs the right conditions. You can create those conditions one step at a time. One leafy green. One sweet potato. One piece of salmon. One stretch before bed. These are not just habits. They're gifts you give yourself, gifts that support your body, calm your nerves, and help you live with more ease. Let's take a moment now to breathe and look back at everything we've covered together. Because sometimes when you're dealing with a persistent problem like leg cramps, it's easy to forget how far a few small shifts can go. We started this conversation with a simple but painful image, the jolt of being awakened in the night. Your calf seized up, your foot twisted, the kind of cramp that makes you want to cry out, if only for someone to help it pass faster. And now, we've explored not only what causes those cramps, but how deeply intertwined they are with the choices you make every day. The food you put on your plate, the water you drink, the way you move, the way you rest. You've learned that it's not just about avoiding pain. It's about supporting the delicate balance of minerals, circulation, and inflammation that keeps your muscles calm and your nights peaceful. Let's revisit the 3 core foods that can help prevent leg cramps in older adults. Not because repetition is boring, but because remembering these tools gives you power. Dark leafy greens like spinach and kale are packed with magnesium and potassium, essential for healthy nerve and muscle function. Sweet potatoes offer a stable source of carbohydrates with high fiber and anti-inflammatory properties, as well as crucial electrolytes like potassium and magnesium. And wild-caught salmon, with its omega-3 fats and natural vitamin D, promotes circulation, calms inflammation, and supports muscle repair. These aren't exotic ingredients. They're simple, available, and already familiar to most of us. Now you know how to use them with intention. You know why they matter. You've seen how just a few servings a week can make a noticeable difference in how your body feels, recovers, and rests. You've also seen how other habits like staying hydrated, stretching before sleep, and minimizing stress support this process. You understand that leg cramps aren't just random attacks. They're part of a larger story your body is trying to tell you. A story of imbalance, perhaps. A story of mineral loss. A story of muscles calling out for help. And more importantly, a story that you can rewrite, starting with a few better choices, starting today. Now imagine this future. You're sitting down to a dinner that makes you feel good in your body. There's color on your plate, greens, orange, maybe some grilled fish or baked salmon. Your kitchen smells like garlic and rosemary. You've got a glass of water by your side, not because someone told you to drink it, but because you've started listening to your body's quiet whispers before they become loud screams. Later that evening, as the sky darkens, you stand up slowly, do a few gentle stretches. Maybe it's your calves, your toes, slow roll of the ankles, and you feel your muscles thanking you, softening just a bit more than they did yesterday. Slip into bed with a different kind of confidence. Not the kind that comes from youth or speed, but the kind that comes from awareness, knowing that you've cared for your body in small, meaningful ways that are already paying off. And maybe, just maybe, you sleep through the night without a single cramp. And maybe when you wake, it's not from pain, but from sunlight. That's not just wishful thinking. That's the reality many people are discovering when they make these changes simple, steady, gentle, and powerful. Now, speak directly for a moment from one human being to another. If you found any of this helpful, if any part of this story felt like your story, then you're not alone. There are thousands, maybe millions of older adults in Canada and beyond who are struggling with the same silent frustrations, the same late-night pain, the same uncertainty, the same desire to take back some control without relying on more pills or feeling like everything's slipping out of reach. You can be a part of changing that, not just for yourself, but for someone else. Think of a friend, a neighbor, a sibling, or even your adult child who might be looking for answers but not knowing where to turn. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is simply share information to say, "Hey, I learned something today that made me feel a bit more hopeful." That's how knowledge spreads. That's how healing spreads. One conversation at a time. So if you've made it this far in the video, thank you. Truly, it means you're someone who values your health, who wants to age with intention, and who believes, maybe quietly, maybe with hesitation, that it's not too late to feel better. That belief is your starting line. That belief is what changes lives. Before we end, take one last breath with me. Just a deep, slow breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Let your shoulders drop. Let the tension melt away, even just a little. Let your body hear the message you've been sending it through your choices today. I'm here. For you, I'm listening. I care. This is your time, not just to survive, but to thrive. Your legs don't have to cramp through the night. Your body doesn't have to suffer silently. You have tools now, tools grounded in science, in nature, in the wisdom of your own life experience. You're not starting from zero. You're building on everything you've already learned and lived. Try one of these foods this week. Just one. Add it to your meal, your routine, your grocery list. Notice how your body responds. It may not be instant, but give it time. Give it consistency. Give it care. Then maybe add another. You're not just changing a diet. You're strengthening your foundation. You're sending nutrients deep into your muscles and messages of safety into your nervous system. And if you feel moved too, let us know in the comments how you're doing. What's worked for you? What questions you still have? This channel exists because of people like you, people who are willing to show up for their health, to stay curious, and to keep growing, no matter their age. If this video brought you value, please consider clicking like, not for algorithms, but so more people can find it. If you want more videos like this, you can subscribe and tap the little bell to get notified. But most importantly, take what you've learned today and apply it. Even one small step can lead to a better night, a better morning, a better season of life. From all of us here, we're wishing you strong legs, deep sleep, and a body that supports you with ease and grace. Thank you for being here. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.